hopefully not as terrible as it sounded. Alright, well, welcome back for another session of Museum of the Mind. We'll be going through the whole process again to see if I can fix any of the issues I have. Alright, Museum of the Mind. Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone. Today we're exploring what it means to step inside your own mind, not as a spectator, but as an architect and curator. Every person carries a private landscape filled with memory, imagination, and potential. Most of that world runs quietly in the background, guiding our habits and emotions and choices. My book and today's presentation are about learning how to enter that landscape intentionally, to explore it, understand it, and reshape it. Hypnosis is not mind control, it is communication. It is a conversation with your deeper self. Through this idea of the Museum of the Mind will turn the abstract into something vivid. Rooms, exhibits, and symbols so that you work safely with your inner world. So, take a deep breath. Notice the stillness that opens inside. That quiet space is the threshold, the first doorway to your own museum. Let's begin by understanding the foundation on which this museum is built. Consciousness itself. Alright. Foundations of consciousness and change. What hypnosis really is. Okay, before we go anywhere, we need to clarify what hypnosis actually is. It is not mind control, not sleep, not surrender. It is focused awareness. A partnership between your conscious intention and your non-conscious imagination. We move in and out of hypnotic states all day. When you drive on autopilot, lose track of time in a book, or get absorbed in music. Hypnosis simply directs that natural focus with purpose. To do that well, we must first understand the rhythms of the mind. There are 4 states of consciousness: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Beta is the waking, focused, and analytical state. Alpha is a relaxed, reflective awareness, most commonly used when daydreaming. Theta is the deep, imaginative bridge between waking and dreaming. And delta is sleep, traditional sleep. Hypnosis guides us gently from beta through to theta. And in that state, we can go deep into your imagination and have you live experiences that are real enough. It creates real change in your waking life. The most powerful of these states is theta, where imagination becomes real. All right, the theta state and the realness of the imagined. Theta is the twilight between waking and dreaming. In this state, the body responds to imagination as if it's really happening. Heart rate, breath, emotion all shift. That's why imagining success, healing, or confidence can create measurable physiological changes. Theta isn't fantasy, it's the mind's rehearsal space. When we rehearse being calm or strong, the nervous system learns it. That's what hypnosis really does. It makes imagination an embodied experience. So, who exactly are we speaking to when we do this work? This brings us to the non-conscious parts of your mind. I use the term non-conscious rather than unconscious or subconscious because nothing about this system is sleeping or actually being asleep or unconscious. The non-conscious processes in your mind run your heartbeat, your reflexes, your emotional habits, and your learned patterns. It's It's not a mysterious other being, it's automation that tries to protect you, even when it uses outdated methods and outdated goals. Hypnosis isn't about commanding this part, it's about inviting it into the conversation and helping it learn new things. Listen respectfully, it adapts quickly. Imagine your mind as a river. The surface is conscious thought, and the deep current is the non-conscious flow. Hypnosis helps them move together. Let's look at how to start that conversation. Communicating with the non-conscious mind. The non-conscious speaks in sensation, imagery, and emotion, not logic. That is why metaphor is our bridge. A door might mean readiness, a light might mean realization. Instead of asking why, we ask, what does this feel like? Resistance isn't defiance, it's communication. It's the mind saying something needs to feel safer first. Our job is to respond with curiosity and compassion. Now that we know who we're speaking with, let's discuss how we start the conversation through the hypnotic induction, because this is, after all, hypnosis. Induction isn't a magic spell, it's just a guided descent that moves attention from the chatter of beta into the calm focus of the theta state. The only two requirements are the participant wants the experience and they know what to expect. The pre-talk sets the stage. It tells the mind what's about to happen so that it can help and not resist. The purpose of the induction is not to put someone under, but to invite their conscious mind to rest. Let's experience a simple countdown example. Breathe in and out. Notice the space, the sounds, your body, the moment, the outside, then the inside. Each breath softens you. And we're back. Okay, back to the start. We are doing a basic induction. Now, this is not a real induction, it's just an induction. Breathe in and out. Notice the space, the sounds, your body, this moment. The outside, then the inside. Each breath softens you, from your head to your toes, and your toes to your head. Your whole body becoming loose, limp, and relaxed. These words are your focus and your guide as you drift and float into calm awareness. Each breath taking you deeper. Waves of comfort rising and falling as you relax deeper and deeper. Breathe in and out. Notice the space, the sounds, your body, this moment, the outside, then the inside. Each breath softens you from your head to your toes, and from your toes to your head. Your whole body becoming loose, limp, and relaxed. These words are your focus and your guide as you drift and float into calm awareness. Each breath taking you deeper. Waves of comfort rising and falling as you relax deeper and deeper. Breathe in and out. Notice this space, the sounds, your body, this moment, the outside, then the inside. Each breath softens you, from your head to your toes, and your toes to your head. Your whole body becoming loose, limp, and relaxed. These words are your focus and your guide as you drift and float into calm awareness. Each breath taking you deeper, waves of comfort rising and falling as you relax deeper and deeper. When you are ready, count from 1 to 5, feeling refreshed, relaxed, instant, and ready to achieve your goals. So that's what a basic countdown looks like. Designing a change experience. A good hypnotic session isn't a script, it's a designed experience. It has 3 phases: orientation, immersion, and integration. Orientation sets safety and purpose. Immersion is the vivid experience of change. Integration brings it back into daily awareness. Use clear, sensory language. The mind believes what it can see, hear, and feel. End every session by reconnecting with the present moment and acknowledging the mind's cooperation. We're ready to step through the first doorway to the museum itself. Okay, let's see. Introducing the museum framework. So, now we move on to the experience. The museum is a symbolic structure, a way to navigate the inner world safely. Each room corresponds to a mental function, such as reflection, storage, creation, and integration. You are not a tourist, you are the curator. Picture museum now, grand or simple, whatever feels right. Let's look at why this metaphor works so well. So why a museum? 3 reasons: organization, distance, and aesthetic reframe. Organization gives form to complexity, distance lets you observe with emotional safety, and aesthetic reframe turns judgment into curiosity. Even pain becomes an artifact of growth. This mindset transforms healing into creative work, and now let's build it. So, building the museum. Once the induction opens the theta state, allows a non-conscious to create once the induction opens the theta state, allow the non-conscious mind to create its own version of the museum. It might appear as marble halls, forests, or light structures, whatever the person imagines. So in this case, You'll say something like, in a moment, you're going to be in front of a museum. This will be a special museum that represents your mind. Maybe it'll be marble halls, or maybe a forest, or light structures, or something else special and unique to you. Or maybe it is just a museum, and that's okay. And so you give ideas, but not all of them. So, as facilitator, emphasize safety. The participant can adjust lighting, open or close doors, or leave any room at any time. A locked door that you can't open will simply means not yet, and we thank it and we move on. Now, let's enter the first area, the entry hall. So, this is the threshold where outer noise fades and intention forms. And we ask, why have you come here today? What qualities do you want to bring back? So the intention for this session is like, what do they want to change? Do they want to do stress reduction? Do they want to do better at a sports game? Do they want to do weight loss? Do they want to do quitting smoking or whatever it is? Whatever their goal is, you have to figure out what it is. What's their intention going into the museum? So the entry hall is the threshold where the outer noise fades and the intention forms. The intention becomes the compass for the entire session. The entry hall is the safety anchor, a place to return to if things feel unclear or uncomfortable. So that is the entry hall. Next, we have the gallery of life. Imagine walking into a vast gallery filled with artwork. Every piece representing a memory, emotion, or habit. We don't critique, we just observe. Instead of asking, why am I like this? We ask, what does this show me? Curiosity dissolves shame. Ask participants to picture one exhibit and notice its detail, light, color, feeling. Maybe it's like a sculpture and it's in a very active shape. Maybe it's like a live display, like a fountain or something, you know? It could be just a painting, it could be anything. And by observing rather than resisting, the mind begins to reorganize itself. Some pieces lead us deeper into the deeper parts of the mind. So, the gallery of life is where we have these pieces that represent our life. Now, in that space, we can do changes to the piece so that it changes how we feel about it. Okay, the next exercise in Museum of the Mind is called the Vault. The Vault of the Mind, it's the inner archive. The vault holds memories and beliefs. It's not a dungeon, it's an archive. Here you might see shelves of records, glowing orbs, boxes of experiences. You can retrieve and refile memories safely, changing their emotional labels. The mind may present an archivist, like a representation for your non-conscious mind. A symbolic guardian, ensuring you work only with what serves you. When a vault feels organized, calm follows. So in the vault, you'd have like your beliefs, and these would be stored, like you can't change it, you just have a hard time getting over that, whatever the belief was that holds you back. And in this place, you can make changes to that belief. Okay. Anyways, on to the next area, the timeline wing, healing across time. Picture a corridor, stretching infinitely from the past into the future. In this space, you can see how events connect, how emotions link to moments. Sometimes you meet a past or future self and you exchange wisdom with them, or get some knowledge from them. Maybe you give them some knowledge. So in this case, you could go into a moment in your past and you could live it differently than you had it before. Now, this doesn't mean that it overwrites your past memory. It just means that you train a different response to the memories. So it isn't a weight to you today. That weight lifts off and you're able to move past it and have new experiences. So if we move on from the timeline wing, we have the perspective hall. This is a place where you rehearse the future. So you'd imagine yourself in a future situation, having the behaviors you want to have, and you walk yourself through the experience. Now, since you're in this waking dream state, you can actually have experiences that feel real. It helps build that natural habit. So, the perspective hall. This is the hall where you practice being who you are becoming. Here, imagination is rehearsal. You're training your body and emotions for success. What would it feel like to live the qualities you want right now? Each vivid rehearsal builds a neural blueprint for that reality. Hey, like and follow. Do the things. Or subscribe, whichever thing you're looking at. And finally, we come to the Chamber of Transformation next. So the Chamber of Transformation is actually two different parts. There is the butterfly part, and there is the cube. Butterfly is a natural idea of a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. So the butterfly represents metamorphosis, surrender, and freedom. And the cube represents containment, structure, and grounding. Together they form substantial change, fluid yet stable. So you would take your old self and your old beliefs and they'd go into the cocoon, and then the new beliefs and the new self would form, and they would come out of the cocoon, and the new butterfly is your new self. And I'm greatly oversimplifying that because it's my first time doing this version of the presentation. So we'll see how the other version goes when I get to that one. So those are the established rooms that I have for spaces in the museum. And next we'll go with one where it's about creating new spaces, because obviously this room is in your mind and it can be anything you want it to be. So as people practice, their museums evolve. New rooms may appear, gardens, observatories, workshops. Encourage creativity. It shows integration. Respect any locked or shadowed door. Those open when safe. Close sessions by returning through the entry hall, thanking the mind, and allowing the lights to dim. So, how does this extend beyond the session and into everyday life? Integration through ritual closures. Every session ends by returning through the entry hall. The light of the museum dims. Everything meaningful comes back with you. The person returns calm, refreshed, and grounded, and then summarize the transformation. Let's see. Before moving on to part 3, let's review the flow of transformation inside the museum. Rehearsal in the perspective hall. Surrendering in the butterfly chamber to the changes. Containing the old feelings in the cube. Integration and closure. Communicating with the non-conscious mind. Hypnosis is an ongoing conversation. The non-conscious mind listens to feelings more than words. If your words and emotions disagree, it follows emotion. Align them, speak, feel, and picture the same intention. The integrity of that's integrity of suggestion. Think of every inner dialogue as a design meeting with yourself. Transition that communication. That communication becomes education. Hypnosis is education of the self. Hypnosis is the mind teaching itself through experience. Every session is a classroom where emotions and imagination becomes the teachers. The lesson is embodied understanding, not theory. What is my mind learning right now through how I feel? Change happens when new emotional lessons replace old reflexes. When we live this daily, we live the museum. Living the museum means applying its principles moment to moment. You might pause and stress and realize I'm back in my entry hall. I can choose which room to enter. Or you see an emotional reaction and say, that belongs in the gallery of life. Simple practices: 1. Mindful breath as your entry hall cue. Nightly mental walkthrough, journaling new exhibits. These small rituals turn self-awareness into a habit. Everyone approaches interchange differently. Listen and identify your style. In my book, I also have a fun little personality quiz. And there are 4 types of inner architects: the designer, the restorer, the explorer, and the guardian. The designer builds through structure and planning. The restorer heals gently and patiently. The explorer learns through discovery and experimentation. And the guardian preserves stability and safety. Goodbye and thank you. Every exploration deserves closure and appreciation. Thank you for participating. Everything that matters stays with me now. Encourage your journaling or sharing. It bridges non-conscious and conscious understanding. You already have all the resources you need. Now let's recap the entire journey. There are the foundations: understanding consciousness, the museum, building its structure, transformation, integrating change, and the philosophy for living the process. When you walk through your museum, you're not escaping life, you're redesigning it. You are both the artist and the artwork. Every transformation begins as an imagined experience that feels real enough to become true. The non-conscious learns through experiences, not arguments. Trust your imagination. Respect your mind's intelligence. Let learning become healing. And remember the simple motto at the heart of this work: direct your mind, set your intentions, and reach your goals. That's not just a slogan, it's an operating principle of all hypnosis and personal change. When awareness and imagination work together, transformation becomes effortless. Pause for silence, music, or reflection. So, what room in your museum feels most alive right now? What image or symbol stayed with you? How could you apply this framework to tomorrow in conversation, a meditation, or a moment of stress? The Museum of the Mind is more than a metaphor. It's a method, a living architecture for awareness. You now have the tools to enter it, explore it, and curate it whenever you wish. Remember, transformation isn't about struggle, it's about direction. Direct your mind, set your intentions, and reach